Oh, hello.
Oh, hello.
And welcome to the Comic Queens podcast. I'm Alex.
And I'm Annie. And today we're super excited to talk to you about a few new webcomics that we've been reading, but in print, actually.
Yes. New to us, not new overall.
That is true. Once they're in print, it usually means there's a standing fan base. So we're a little late to the game, actually. But today, Alex and I are focused on talking about some webcomics that have gone into print and giving kind of our, thoughts on the whole entire series that we've read so far.
Yeah.
So to start us out, I'll very quickly talk about the very first one that I had read, which is Boyfriends. It is on Webtoon. It has like 198 episodes. It sounds daunting. It is not, because they're fairly quick to get through.
Some shorter episodes.
Yeah, there's some shorter episodes. This one, if I have to describe it in general, it is just bubblegum, sweet and adorable.
Mm-hmm.
I know we went to a bookstore together and you'd picked it up and literally all of the colors, it's candy, mint green, bright pink, really light pastel colors.
Mm-hmm. And the characters all look very soft.
Yeah.
Even the goth character looks
They're actually
soft.
kind of all chibis.
Yes.
So I love that I read this before you, because talk about a recommendation for you. Essentially, the story follows 4 characters: the prep, the jock, the goth, and the nerd.
Mm-hmm.
And essentially the story starts out, the goth and the prep are roommates. And the prep is just so upset because it's been hard for him to find a boyfriend. So he's like, this isn't fair. It's so hard to find a boyfriend. And the goth is like, no, it's not. And so he watches the nerd trip and fall in front of him. And the goth helps him pick up his books and then asks him for his phone number. And he's like, there you go. It's that simple. So the prep gets really upset. And he ends up kind of starting this flirtationship with this jock that he runs into.
Mm-hmm.
But ends up being so awkward that when the jock is like, do you want to get coffee? He's like, no, thanks. I had caffeine. And he walks away and doesn't process until his coffee is gone that the jock had been hitting on him the entire time.
Yeah.
Well, we fast forward and see that the goth and the prep as roommates are kind of a live-in couple already.
Mm-hmm.
They cuddle on the couch and the goth tucks him into bed. And the prep is just can't believe I can't find a boyfriend.
Oh,
and the goth
gosh.
is just sitting there waiting for him to realize that he's in love with him and that he wants to date him. And so the goth and the nerd end up going on a date, and they kind of end up coming up with the decision that they all have a crush on each other and they should just be in a 4-way polyamorous relationship.
Oh my gosh.
None of them have any polyamory experience. So that's kind of new for them.
Yeah.
But they all eventually end up agreeing to it, and it's kind of just a webcomic about their super cute and adorable adventures together.
Oh my gosh. I love it. This sounds so cute. I mean, from the cover, I knew it was going to be cute.
I know. I remember you were like, I think you should read this. And I said no at first because I was like, I don't know. Polyamory isn't my thing. Not to mention all of the harem webcomics and manga that I've read before.
We love a harem.
What's wrong with a harem? Or a reverse harem? Who even, who knows? But then I was like, is it really that different? I will say, I'm glad I picked it up. It is absolutely adorable. And I think it's one of those ones you can just read in little bursts. And the characters are just so cute that you'll leave feeling better about your day. So I highly recommend it.
Yeah. And this one is on Webtoon.
Yeah. So it is on Webtoon, and in print, you can find it at basically a lot of your local bookstores.
Mm-hmm.
I will say that the reason I wanted to highlight this one first is because this one actually just came out with its volume 2 in print.
Mm-hmm.
So if you aren't caught up on the webcomic and you want it in a print version, there's now 2 physical copies available. And that gets you halfway through the whole series. So
I may have to pick those up.
I know.
From our
really
local
cute.
bookstore.
I know. Lucky us. Definitely shop independent bookstores. That's usually my recommendation.
Yes.
But yeah, highly recommend. Very cute.
Well, going away from cute and going towards our go-to office romance, I read On or Off, which is a boy love office romance. It's
surprising no one.
It is so good. I think you bought me the first one for my birthday last year.
Yes.
And then when we were in New York, I bought the next 3 because natural progression, that's what I had to do.
I mean, you had no choice.
I thought I was buying the complete set, but there is one more, I think. I looked. This one can be found on TappyToon as the all ages version. The explicit version of the books is 18 plus for sure.
I will tell you right now, so usually the 18 plus webcomics will come wrapped in plastic. This one did not. I saw just 2 boy love men in suits. I was like, Alex will love this. It is like no lightsabers, 18 plus content.
It's very graphic, but it's also a heartwarming story.
Good. I'm so glad.
I love this. So I think that this is complete on TappyToon as well. It says finale, but there are also 2 other finales, like a season 2 finale and a season 1 finale on TappyToon. So I'm not sure if it's if there's going to be any spinoffs or any epilogue or anything like that, but it does appear to be complete. The print that I have goes through episodes 78, and there are 91. So I think 1 or 2 more books might get me there.
Okay.
I'm not exactly sure, but I at least know that there's a volume 5 that I need to get now.
I mean, yeah, honestly.
So this story follows Yi Young, and he is a young professional, and he's working with one of his childhood friends, Mina, who is just a super badass lady and wants to start her own company. And so she pulls all of these people together and says okay, Donga, you're going to be the programmer. Haji, you're going to be the designer. Sinja, you're going to be our business planner. Yi Young, I just want you to be a part of this. So he kind of does a little bit of everything. And he ends up being the one who delivers the presentation. They are developing a game and for a company. And the game they come up with is super cute. It's like a tofu shopping game, basically. And so he goes to present this game, and while he's the last presentation of the day, and he goes by himself because all of his people on his team are not presentation people. They're absolutely not. And Mina has left. So they've finished this game, and then Mina goes, I have to go save my dad's company because his company's failing, so you guys are on your own now. Sorry. So Yi Young is okay, I guess I'm gonna go do this presentation and try and hold this team together. So he goes to do this presentation.
No pressure.
Yeah, no pressure. He goes to do this presentation, and while he's getting started with this game, his computer doesn't update.
Oh, no.
So they all leave because they're pissed. They're like, oh, you wasted our time. This is the last presentation of the day. We're not dealing with this. And so he starts freaking out. He's like, oh my gosh, this was my one shot and I ruined it. I'm not going to get a chance to do this. This was my part. I'm supposed to be the person who's kind of leading this team. So then he sees Dae-hyung, who is the CEO. He's a director. And he knows that this guy's super intimidating. He's like, this is the guy I need to impress. And so he goes and hunts down his office, and he's like, I'm still going to deliver our presentation in written form so that they can at least have this material. So he convinces Dae-hyung's secretary to let him go back and put this presentation on his desk. She's like, anything that you put on the desk, he will read. So he does that. And then when he's in there, he sees a calendar invite that he's going to a bar tonight. And he's like, you know what? I might as well go to this bar and just see what's up. So he goes to this bar and kind of stalks him just a little bit. And we cut to Dae-hyung, and he is at this bar. His girlfriend is breaking up with him, and she's older. He's into older women, and she is saying look, I got to put my daughter first. She's going off to college. She wants me to cross the country with her, and so I'm putting her first. I'm sorry. It's been fun, but we both know what this is. Yeah. And he's like, yeah, okay, whatever, fine. So then Yi Young, like, pretends to run into him and say, like, oh, can't believe I'm seeing you here. And Dae-hyung is like, I don't buy that at all. You did this intentionally. Dae-hyung kind of implies that if he sleeps with Yi Young, that he will read the presentation tomorrow. But they end up having a hookup, like a one-night stand. And at the end, Dae-hyung is like, yeah, I'm not going to read your presentation tomorrow. He's a big dick about it.
But no, I'm just kidding. Honestly, dick move.
Dick move. He ends up reading it, though.
Okay.
And he ends up getting chosen.
Okay.
So it kind of works out. But now he's kind of in a pickle because...
Sorry, my immature ass is like, this is a lot of dick and pickle talk.
Oh my God. Well, he is kind of in a pickle now because now he's working.
Not me. Just imagining you saying dickle.
No. Okay, he's in a predicament.
Okay. A predicament.
Moving on.
Okay.
He has to work with Yi Young now.
Okay.
That's it.
That is such a predicament.
So Yi Young is he's like leading their team now. They go to the office. They're like, do you want an office here? Do you guys have your own setup? They don't really have a setup. They were working out of someone's garage that they were renting. So he's like, yeah, sure, let's get an office. So they go working at the office, and there's a guy who's a marketing director. His name is Chief Kim. And he kind of makes Yi Young do all of these things that are like basically what you would have your assistant or secretary do, like go make copies, go get coffee, like do all of this stuff. Like basically turns him into a personal assistant. And Dae-hyung is like, what are you doing? Like goes and tries to help him and gets them a nicer office and really starts helping him out. And like pretty much right away they turn around and he starts liking Yi Young and like trying to help him out and calls him a CEO in front of like everyone else so that everyone thinks that he's like the top dog of this company basically. It's so cute. I love them so much. From the first book, I knew I'm going to have to finish this series. It's so good because the first book is really about like the work conflict. Then it kind of moves on to them working together and kind of reconciling, like, there's a lot of back and forth, push and pull, where Dae-hyung is, like, kind of playing with his feelings a little bit, like, gets him to think that he likes him, but then is like, oh, do you like me? Like, just kind of a little bit of back and forth stuff.
Douchebag games.
Yeah, a little bit, but it's okay. We like him.
I don't know who this we is.
You would like him.
Probably.
So he gets super, super sweet, though, eventually. And he's trying to, like, they end up making Yi Young, like, the face of their, like, company, basically. Because they say he's, like, so pretty. And they're like, he could be a model. And so Dae-hyung, like, is thinking that he wants to be a model and tells him to go be a model. And it actually hurts Yi Young's feelings a lot because he really wanted to be in the business world. And he's being told by the director of this company that he should go into modeling instead. So a lot of different hardships like that. And then basically at the end of book 4, they are, like, officially together. And Dae-hyung is like, look, we probably shouldn't be together while we're still working together. But once your guys' contract is up, then we can get together officially. But at the very end, Dae-hyung gets a job offer that's going to take him away from Korea. And that is where I have left off. So I don't know what's going to end up happening. I'm guessing that they're going to end up together because that would be a very sad love story if they didn't end up together. But we'll see.
I don't know. Some love stories, I kind of wish they didn't.
Yeah.
Shape of sympathy.
But But this isn't like that because both of these characters are just so cute, and I love them together. He confesses to Daehyung, or Daehyung confesses to Yeyoung that he is in love with him. And because of like the first time that they hooked up, Yeyoung brings out his phone and is like, I'm gonna need that in recording. And it's like a super cute moment because he takes it and he's like, I'm confessing that I'm in love with you and all of this stuff, and like we're going to be together officially as soon, like I'm not even gonna wait until this project's over. And it's just like the cutest story ever. I love this one.
I love that.
I'll let you borrow it so you can read it.
I know, I'll have to read it. Not like I've ever borrowed any of your other manga and then didn't get to them.
Cherry magic.
I'll give it back. Honestly, no, it sounds really good. I mean, it's an office romance, so you know we're there.
Yeah.
So the last one that we have to talk about today is actually one that I'm really excited about because it's different than what we usually look into. So it's more of like a fantasy comedy, and it is so unique to anything that I usually read. So the title of this is Nothing Special. Mm-hmm. It is a webtoon original by Katie Cook. There's only one volume out right now, but you can actually pre-order at a lot of places. Volume 2, which is coming out this October. So there will be even more in print. Right now, in Webtoon itself, there are 159 episodes and it's on a hiatus. But I tell you what, this is such a freaking cute, like, it makes me feel like I'm getting a cavity reading this story. Mm-hmm. I picked it up and like officially decided to get it because it looked like something that my son could read. And I don't feel like I get to say very often that a lot of what I'm reading is appropriate for my children. So I thought that that was kind of a little pat on the back for me as a parent. But volume 1 of Nothing Special is absolutely precious. It covers the first 29 episodes of the series, and it's honestly pretty dense. Like, there's a lot happening in there. The story follows a girl named Callie, and it opens up with her just kind of being a little girl, very rebellious. She's playing kickball with all of these little monster children, and she's about to run towards this gate opening, and her dad, like, whisks her away and says, you know, that's the number one rule. You can't cross the gate. So, she, as like a daughter would, kind of gives a little pushback. She's like, ugh, it's always you're too young to do this. You can't possibly stay up late and all this. And he goes, look, like, until you're about 17, you're not allowed to cross this gate under any circumstance. So you see that as she's grown up, now she's in high school. She's like 16 going on 17 or so. And she can see all of these sprites like around her, and she's like interacting with all these magical creatures in the real world that nobody else can see because she's not fully human. And so she kind of lives between two worlds, and she just kind of feels like an outcast in both of them. Like, she can't fully participate in the monster world. Mm-hmm. She is like kind of half in the human world and half not, and everyone kind of thinks she's crazy in the human world. And so Callie just kind of feels left out, and she doesn't really feel like she knows who she is. Mm-hmm. Like, her identity is pretty unknown. But she ends up, like, as she's walking into the school, she's, like, drawn pictures of these little sprites, and she's running into class, and she ends up running into and, like, physically knocking over one of her fellow students who ends up seeing the drawing, and he says, you can see them too. Ooh. And so she is, like, super taken aback. She's like, but only people who aren't fully human can see them. And he's like, oh, well, then I guess I'm not fully human. She's like, then what are you? He's like, I don't know. So she forms this friendship with this guy, Declan, who's from her classes. And it just kind of shows, like, the span of their friendship. Like, over the year, they've just gotten really close with one another. Like, Declan definitely has feelings for her. And essentially, like, they get to the point where she turns 17. And her dad has, like, come back from this mission. He's bringing home takeout food. And she's just excited to celebrate 17 because she's built it up in her head to be this, like, big, momentous moment where she gets to kind of feel more like an adult. And her dad has gone missing. There's, like, a trail of blood somewhere, and some monster has come to get him from the house. Mm. So essentially, her and Declan have to cross into that monster world together and find her dad. the story basically follows them through like the entire process of like walking through the woods, all the different magical monsters that they're trying to work with to figure out like what is going on. And it is just so adorable, and it feels very magical in general, just the design of everything, the art style, but also it is just precious. I don't know that there is really another word for it. It's just so cute. I absolutely love this. I didn't actually start this as a webcomic. I started it as the print version now. So I'm going to have to pre-order part 2.
Yeah.
And start reading it from there.
So I have a question then.
Yes.
Having read that one, having read Boyfriends, I've read On or Off, Lore Olympus. What are your thoughts on just like the print comics in general?
I honestly love it. One, because I do feel like it's just another way that you can support the artists that you love reading so much. I know that there are definitely some webcomics that like I read them over and over, and owning a print copy would be huge to me because it is something that you can just like keep going back to. I think too, there's always that risk when it comes to like media in general. Like there's always the fear that it's eventually going to go away or move somewhere else. And so being able to like have that in hand just kind of gives you that security of like, I know that I can read this when I want it and when I need it. I think there are so many benefits to having the print versions of those webcomics. And I'm really happy that they've started doing it for more series. Like I had always known Lore Olympus was huge. And I know that like Let's Play, one that I've talked about quite a few times, has print versions. I just think it's so wonderful to be able to like physically hold it. I mean, I am a book person at the end of the day. I never used to be, but like at the end of the day, I like holding that webcomic in my hands and knowing, one, that it supports the artist and the creators, and two, just that I can look at it when I want and have that with me, whether they decide to move to a different platform, they decide to, you know, remove it in general. Like you just always have that story with you. So I think it is special in its own way.
Yeah, I agree. I love it. I think the one downside is the number of chapters that you get per volume is usually much smaller than you can get on the web. So like Lore Olympus, I just bought the 6th book today. So, and the 7th one you can pre-order too. And I would say it's not, there's at least a few more that are going to come out after that. It's not, it may be a little over halfway that I have the physical copies of right now. So it is like, it's definitely a commitment if you want to do that and you're like myself and need to be a completionist about it and say I have the entire series, even though you promised your husband you would stop after the 5th one.
So specific.
But I love having them, like, even supporting the artist, having them to just look at and like be a staple piece of my bookshelf. They all match. That is one thing about the Lore Olympus that I have gotten all of the Barnes & Noble exclusive, except for the 6th one. I actually didn't get the Barnes & Noble exclusive for that because I thought that just the regular copy went well with the series. But like I've really stuck with that blue and pink like color scheme with it. And I just think they all look so beautiful together.
Yeah, it's really crisp.
And they're all the same size. Like the On and Off ones are really nice too because it's all just like solid color blocking. So even though they are all different colors, they all match because they're all the same font. They're all the same size. So I love that when you can just have like an entire series match on your bookshelf.
I know. I will say I do have quite a few collections at this point of different manga, print webcomics, things like that. And I do love when there's the consistency of it.
Yeah, it doesn't have to always be the same color, but, you know, some kind of thread of consistency throughout. And I do think that they all need to be the same height.
Yeah.
That is one thing I love.
I will agree with that. The size is important in that sense. So... But yeah, honestly, I think that having those print copies really is special. And really, all of these series have just been phenomenal. I'm all about supporting the artists, especially because there are just so many great webcomics out there in the world. So,
and there were more to choose from that we saw too. Usually you will see on somewhere on the cover, on the back, it'll say if it's from a webtoon or from Tappytoon or Tapas. We saw some from Tapas as well. So you can find the ones that are printed from a webcomic like that, or like a lot of times artists will have their own copies that you can buy directly from their own websites. So definitely see what's out there and go support your artist.
absolutely. Definitely do. Well, thank you so much for joining us today on the Comic Queens podcast. We're looking forward to talking to you all on the next one.
Goodbye.
Bye.